A state that's been trending Democrat for the last several election cycles is now becoming solidly Republican as we speak, and the Democrats are starting to freak out. We're going to take a deep dive into the numbers here. We're going to see how Democrats really are starting to panic, and make sure to stick with me at the very end of this video when I'll reveal why, for the Dems, it's all too little, too late. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. It's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So make sure you smack that bell and subscribe button. Before we begin, gang, the time has arrived. My movie, The Return of the American Patriot, The Rise of Pennsylvania, is now available for pre-sale at a discounted price by clicking on the link below. And the best part is that when you purchase this movie, you have the opportunity to join me and thousands of other patriots in my brand new community on Locals. We're together. We're standing up against woke culture in a censor-free environment. There, we've got special bonus content from myself, from my team, and even Senator Doug Mastriano and other guests. The movie will be released on September 15th, but pre-purchase it now to get exclusive discounts, bonus content, and best of all, stand up against the woke mob as a courageous patriot. Make sure to click on that link below or go to the Return of the American Patriot.com. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. More and more pundits are recognizing that something absolutely astounding is happening in the great state of, drumroll, Nevada. For the last several presidential cycles, Nevada, of course, has been designated a swing state, one that's just as likely to vote for either presidential candidate. But pundits have increasingly recognized that over the last few election cycles, Nevada actually has been swinging way to the left. It's voted for the Democratic presidential candidate for 5 of the last 7 elections. The former crooked Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid's influence over the Clark County political machine was very, very significant, and he helped shape trends that were clearly moving leftward in the state for a number of years. And yet, something has been happening in Nevada. It's really fascinating stuff. More and more pundits are recognizing that the Democrats are, in point of fact, losing Nevada. Take a look at this polling. It's shocking given those previous Democrat trends. Back in March, Democrat pundits were panicked to discover presidential polling numbers coming out of Nevada that were up until that point unfathomable. They found that if the election were held today, Trump would carry Nevada by 10 points, double digits. It'd be a blowout. And the Republicans were found winning all the way down the ticket. In the Senate, Adam Laxalt, the Republican, would trounce the Democrat by 7 points. In the governor's race, the Republican Joe Lombardo would win by 3 over the Democrat incumbent Steve Sisolak. So that was back in March. Now here we are in August, and very little has changed. The latest Trafalgar polling has Laxalt beating his pathetic Democrat challenger by nearly 3 points. Now, keep in mind, like we've talked about in other videos, gang, it's very important. That's in the context of a cyclical polling lull for Republicans. Republican candidates always poll poorly in the summer and early fall months right before an election. Again, we talked about this in yesterday's video. In August, leading up to the Virginia governor's race last year, Terry McAuliffe was crushing Glenn Youngkin by 8 percentage points, 46-38. Winsome Sears was losing by 6 points. The Attorney General's race had the Republican down by 8 points. Now, of course, all 3 of them went on to win in a total blowout. It was a devastating and humiliating defeat for the Democrats. This happens every single election cycle. And so as you can see, even in the midst of the cyclical polling lull, the Republican Laxalt is consistently beating his Democratic opponent for the Senate. Same with the governorship. Republican Joe Lombardo continues to maintain his 3-point lead over the Democrat incumbent, by the way. And given the historical trends that we see every election cycle, we can fully expect those leads to only grow from here. And this polling corroborates precisely what analysts have been observing for months now. Democrat voters are defecting in droves and becoming Republicans in Nevada. The latest analysis found that Democrats have been losing registered voters, get this, at 3 times the rate of Republicans. It's an astonishing hemorrhaging of voters. And again, notice you'll never, up until this point at least, you'll never hear about that from the mainstream media, the legacy media, for obvious reasons. But this is a huge development. Democrats are defecting over to Republicans at a rate of 3-1 in comparison to the other way around, Republicans becoming Democrats. The Liz Cheneys of the party, right? The rhinos simply going to their natural political home among the woke zombies, right? And note, too, this trend has been continuing all the way up until now through the summer months. So with this 3-1 defection discrepancy, we're now beginning to see pundits panic. Look at the headlines that are starting to come out of late. The New York Mag, Nevada Democrats could lose it all in 2022. We're taking the Senate, we're taking the governorship all the way down the ticket. It could be a Republican sweep akin to what we saw in Virginia. That's from the New York Mag. From Bloomberg, just shocking. Inflation buoys GOP's hopes to flip Senate seat, talking about Nevada. From the Washington Post, as economic worry grows, Democrats face weary Vegas voters, and on and on and on. Now, the legacy media is finally taking notice, and they're starting to panic. But it may all be too little, too late, because what appears to be happening in Nevada is not simply a matter of voters rumbling about the economy. Nevada appears to be at the cusp of a massive political paradigm shift that promises to change not merely Nevada, but the nation as a whole. But before I forget, my friend Michael Lush, along with his amazing staff at Replace Your University, are showing patriots just like you how you can build your own personal parallel economy so you can do more of what you love, like fighting for freedom without worrying about your financial future. Michael will even show you how to pay off your mortgage in 5 to 7 years. He's absolutely amazing. Click on that link below to book a free consultation call today. You're going to love him. All right. What we have to understand is that what's happening in Nevada is the very same political paradigm shift that we've been seeing in Florida and in southern Texas. And if you're a regular to this channel, then you already know exactly the paradigm shift I'm talking about. It is the mass defection of Latino voters away from the Democrats. As it turns out, the populism of Trump and the MAGA movement is attracting Latino voters in droves. I mentioned this to you in another video. Pollster Rich Barris, he has polling data that shows that Kari Lake may take the Latino vote in Arizona, which is gigantic. I mean, Kari Lake, the ultra-MAGA gubernatorial candidate for the great state of Arizona, is poised to get the majority of the Latino vote. I mean, you just have to let that hit you in terms of how stunning that is. That means that the Latino defection that began in southern Florida and that moved to the Rio Grande Valley districts via Mayra Flores is now moving in Arizona. Again, this is absolutely amazing stuff. So all of this is to say that it looks like the Democrats are now losing Nevada. And when you combine that with their loss of other swing states like Florida and Iowa and Ohio, all of which are now solidly red, we're looking at the potential political paradigm shift for the nation as a whole for generations to come. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Definitely check out my latest video on Biden's ridiculous student debt scam, already backfiring on him big time. It's going to make your day. So make sure to click on that link, and I will see you over there. God bless.